Part of the weekly maintenance on your embroidery machine is to clean from beneath the throat plate. In order to do so, you're going to use a tool, something like this, and remove the 3 screws. Lift off the throat plate, and you'll clean out any extra thread or lint that gathers in this area here. This is actually the knife that cuts. Many people think that the knife that cuts is this piece that comes down from behind the head of the machine, but this is not the knife. This is the thread wiper. The actual cutting knife is this right here that opens and closes underneath this spring knife. If this area isn't clean, sometimes there can be a lot of thread or lint gather back here, and it won't allow the knife to close all the way, and sometimes that will create a trimming issue. Again, once a week we're going to remove the throat plate, clean out from underneath here, and then return the throat plate. When you put the throat plate back on and you put your screws back in, be sure and put them in so that they're just finger tight, all 3 of them, before you start tightening them down. Don't tighten any one of the 3 screws until you have all 3 finger tight. About once each 6 months, there are 2 other areas that are going to need to be cleaned and grease added. Along this bar right here, this X-axis bar, there's this cover. You're going to remove this cover by loosening 5 screws that go across the top, and then just gently pulling this free. Behind here you'll find the belt that drives, and then this area right down in here where you'll put grease on each side of the machine. This is called the linear way. You want to make sure that if there's any buildup of lint or thread or anything else, that you clean that out from here in the linear way as well as in the belt area, and this is for both sides of the machine. So over here on the right hand side you would clean and grease, and on the left hand side you would clean and grease. When you're finished, simply replace the cover and tighten the screws. Another area that needs to be cleaned and lubricated every 6 months with grease is the Y-axis that's underneath this panel. In order to access that panel, you have 1 and 1 more screw from the front of this panel. So that's a total of 3 screws for this panel and 4 for the larger back panel. At this point I can take this off, and I'm going to inspect this area for adequate lubrication with grease, as well as any thread or any debris. I want to make sure it's clean on both sides of the machine, both my right side that I've just opened and my left side, which opens the same way, and that there's enough grease on all along the length of the linear way. To put it back together, this panel goes on first with the 3 screws that hold it in place, and then the larger back panel goes on top back here. Another area that will need to be greased every 6 months is behind this panel right here. We're going to remove these 2 screws, and the grease will go in this area right here. You'll need to kind of feed it back in just a little bit so that it gets into, not on the outside area here, but into this area there. When you've added a little grease there, you're just going to replace the panel with the 2 screws that originally came off of it. This linear rail will also need to get cleaned and greased as often as it appears necessary. Because it is more exposed on both sides of the head, it will tend to collect thread or debris. So you're going to need to be sure and wipe it clean. And after you've wiped it clean, then to add a little bit more grease both on the top side and on the bottom side of the rail. One last area that will need to be cleaned and greased approximately every 6 months is the color change motor assembly area. I'm going to remove this cover. Has 2 screws. Once we remove the cover, we'll be able to check for any debris down inside this worm gear assembly and feed a little bit of extra grease in there if it appears like it's dry.